A warm welcome here in our studio in Serekunda. This is Star TV News with me, Mayuna Jufadera. In the headlines tonight, General Saul Badjie swears to the Quran, denying selling out to the opposition to rig the 2016 elections against Jammeh and apologizes to his victims, saying to them, "I am sorry if I wronged any Gambian." Gambian reacts as General Saul Badjie sought for forgiveness in a video posted on Facebook. Human Appeal International donates food provision to Tanka Tanka, Kovi and Gambia prison services. On the international scene, Burundi votes intense presidential election. Regional leaders to discuss security after rebel attacks in Mozambique. In US, thousands evacuated in Michigan after 2 times fail. Well, those were the headlines, and now the news in details. A former Gambian army general and close aide to Yahya Jammeh, Saul Badjie, has sworn to the Holy Quran and vehemently rebuffed claims made by what he calls his detectors, who had accused him of conspiring with the December 30th coupists to topple Jammeh's former rule. Star TV can report Badjie is in exile in Equatorial Guinea with Jammeh. He began his social media rants by performing ablution and then prayed to God to help judge between him and his detectors, some of whom he accused of soiling his reputation both within and outside the country. Mate Senghor files in this report.
Badjie said so many stories have been circulated about him since his departure from the Gambia. He added that his alleged involvement in the failed December 30th coup was among the allegations that were brought against him. The reason why I perform ablution and pray on the first Friday of the holy month of Ramadan with the Holy Quran on my hand, I want to swear to God that the allegations that they have made against me, that I was part of the December 30th coup, was not only false but misleading. What I am holding is the Holy Quran. I have never conspired with anyone to topple Yahya Jammeh's government, General Badjie remarked in the local Mandinka dialect. Badjie said the only coup that he had ever participated was the July 22nd, 1994. That was the coup that brought Jammeh to power and sent the 30 years PPP rule out of power. Badjie has called on God to punish him if he is lying on his sacred oath. I am wishing Ramadan Kareem to all Gambians, both at home and abroad, including non-Gambians. I am also seeking forgiveness to anyone that I wronged while I was a leader in the Gambia. Leading is not easy. I might have wronged some people without knowing it. If that is the case, I am seeking everyone's forgiveness. A desperate and depressed-looking General Badjie remarked. Badjie has even gone as far as calling on the people he had wronged in the past to please call him so that he could personally apologize to them on the phone. He added that he is open to dialogue and reconciliation. Badjie has also denied selling out to the opposition by allegedly helping them to reach the 2016 elections against Jammeh. The denial followed accusations made by Badjie's perceived detractor, one Omar Sani, aka Baitulai, who is currently hiding in the Casamas amid reports that he had jumped police bail after being accused of circulating hate speech on WhatsApp. Sani is a native of Fonyi, Arankong, and also a former cook in the defunct Gambia National Army, now renamed as the Gambia Armed Forces. If it is true that I conspired with the opposition to reach the past elections, may God punish me. May God destroy me. I have never conspired with any opposition to reach the past polls. I am also summoning anyone who is falsely accusing me of selling out to the opposition for God to judge between me and him, Badjie remarked. The same person has also alleged that I stole Yahya Jammeh's trouser to give it to the opposition so that they could take it to Amarabu for Jammeh to lose the election. That's not true. I have never taken Jammeh's handkerchief or any property. I am swearing to God that if I am lying, may God punish me hereafter, and right here on planet Earth. I am summoning the persons falsely accusing me of coup plot against Jammeh, election rigging, and stealing to God. May God judge between me and him. If the person is God-fearing, let him also hold the Holy Quran and take an oath, he said. Badjie has also denied stealing millions from the Central Bank of the Gambia. He said the allegations coming from the Jammeh Commission were false and unfounded. I heard them saying that I took some money from the central bank, that I stole money from Yahya Jammeh at the central bank. The allegations are false. If I am lying, may God punish me. How can I steal taxpayers' fund? This is not true. I also heard them saying that I stole Yahya Jammeh's vehicles and took them to Dakar. All these allegations are false, Badjie said. Badjie says he will soon be back home. It appears that Badjie's relationship with Jammeh had been strained. He had to go public on social media to reassure his former boss. It should be noted that Badjie was reacting to Omar Sane's past allegations against him. Reporting for Star TV News, I am Mati Senghor.
Gambian on Facebook has reacted to former Army General and close aide to former President Sol Badjie WhatsApp video seeking for forgiveness, while our own Omar Job reports.
Gambians reacted on Facebook after former commander of Republican National Guards Sol Badjie is seen in a video seeking forgiveness to the general public. The former general Sol Badjie has been seen on numerous occasions allegedly mentioned in both TRRC and Janneh Commission for unlawful acts in the Gambia during President Jammeh's days, which include taking money from the Central Bank of the Gambia and working with former President Jammeh's hit squad called Junglers. Mr. Badjie dismissed all those allegations against him as seen in a video performing ablution, praying and swearing on the Quran. He had never done anything evil to former President Yahya Jammeh, as he also rubbish claims he was taking money from the Central Bank of the Gambia. As the video goes viral on social media, many Gambians with divergent views took on social media with question why his main defense in the video is focused on Jammeh's issue and not on his alleged involvement in killing Gambians as mentioned in TRRC. Nana Maketa, former Observer reporter now based in America, wrote on his Facebook timeline saying forget about what General Badjie has said, but who thought we did one day will see such public display of penitence from the 1 second most powerful and feared Gambian, General Sol Badjie. All is not well in Equatorial Guinea. Nata Mas, based in America and known for his popular Facebook post, also took on his timeline by saying, General, are you about to fall apart with Jammeh? 12-minute video and the only specifics are what you did not do to Jammeh. What about the murders you are accused of? He wrote. Others said let him face Isafal on TRRC and explain all he has been accused of and then ask for forgiveness instead of posting video on Facebook, while others concord and support his forgiveness on the video. Omar Job for Star TV.
The Human Appeal International organization donated bags of rice to the Gambia Prison Services, the Gambia organization of the visual impaired and the Gambia's only psychiatric hospital, Tanka Tanka. This donation was made to contribute to the national pandemic relief and Ramadan feed. Jacqueline Cole reports.
The Human Appeal Organization is an island-based organization which is a global charity network working across the world, giving support and care to families enduring poverty and social exclusion. Representing the organization, Modun Jai said they are making this donation due to the negative impact COVID-19 has on the life of the citizens. Receiving the items at the Gambia Prison Service, the Director of Administration, Seku Kausu Gassama, thanked Human Appeal for their noble gesture in remembering them and promised to distribute the rice to the inmates because that is what the donation was meant for. At Govi, the Executive Director Mahmoud A.F. Bahum said this donation will help a lot of disabled people who earn a living through street begging, which has now been banned due to the pandemic outbreak in the Gambia. Mr. Bahum added that there is a handful of disabled people that are breadwinners and find it difficult to feed their families, but this donation will go a long way for their families. Safiatou Kinte, the matron of Tanka Tanka, thanked the organization for their kind gesture and revealed that the bags of rice donated will go a long way in feeding the patients and encourage other bodies to imitate the organization and render help to the hospital and its patients. Jacqueline Coley, reporting for Star TV News.
Professor Atif Amin Hazin, ECOWAS expert on higher education, distant learning, not tempting online university in the Gambia, presented food items to the Gambia Armed Forces, widows and families yesterday at the Army headquarters in Banjul. Well, Dado Cham files in this report.
Mr. Atif also presented 2 drones to the Gambia Armed Forces Communication Department, with the Army PRO described as a timely effort.
This donation is very timely in that since the global pandemic, that is COVID-19, was declared throughout the world, the Republic of the Gambia, as well as several other nations, have been grappling with how to contain and also help their citizenry. The members of the armed forces have also embarked in-house on some kind of sensitization and also capacity building, as well as helping ourselves with our families in how to reduce the risk and also the effects of COVID-19 on our daily lives and activities.
The PRO said this presentation is not an exception in the fighting against the coronavirus in the Gambia by donating the items to family members to those who lost their life during duties in the Gambia Armed Forces. Professor Hassan described the army as a very good partner in giving him direction in how to work in the Gambia. For that, he is happy to take a step towards in line of his aim to work with the Gambia Armed Forces in creating easy distance learning.
This is my aim, that let we make the Gambia to the digital Gambia, and inshallah with the collaboration of the Gambia Armed Forces, we make the geofencing of the border with drones, with cameras, with IoT, Internet on Things. So let we make safe, secure Gambia, because you know the Gambia is make maximum tourist opportunity country. The main earning of Gambia is a tourism. So let we make the more safe Gambia, more reliable Gambia, inshallah.
He also promised to do more by also giving chance to Gambia Armed Forces members to be part of his university if finally set up in the Gambia. The Deputy Defense Staff of the Gambia Armed Forces, General Mamad Cham, thanked the donor and said it has been a very good donation and it has also touched their heart.
On behalf of the Chief of Defense Staff, I am grateful to Professor Anif for this very touching gesture. I think since the beginning of the Ramadan, this is a gift that has really touched our hearts because it's based on the fact that it's very thoughtful. He is considering the family members of our fallen comrades, and in this holy month of Ramadan, to provide them with a token and to share with them the little he has.
General Cham said the army is ready to continue to do its best by enhancing its constitutional mandate. Reporting for Star TV News, I am Dado Cham.
And we now look at the news beyond our borders. People in Burundi have cast ballots to pick a successor to President Pierre Nkurunziza amid reports of political violence. Nkurunziza has been in power for 15 years and has been accused of human rights abuses. The polls were made by concerns about a lack of transparency after international observers were barred. Al Jazeera's Malcolm Webb reports.
No sign of social distancing as people lined up to vote in Burundi's capital Bujumbura. Health experts have criticised the government's response to the coronavirus pandemic. Governments told people not to worry and that the election should go ahead.
What I can say is that whatever the results, Burundians should welcome it and accept whoever the winner will be.
But rights groups say people aren't free to express critical views. Reports of political violence have been widespread since the last elections 5 years ago.
They're taking place in the context of ongoing crackdowns on civil society, on the independent media. We've seen reports of killings, arrests, even disappearances of opposition members in the last few weeks in the run-up to the elections. So we're very concerned about the context that they're taking place in.
International observers were effectively excluded after being told they'd be quarantined for 14 days on arrival. But the government says the process is free and fair.
Everybody go to votes without problem.
Social media services were blocked as people voted. Many journalists and activists have fled into exile. It all strains the credibility of the process. Burundians are now waiting for provisional results to be announced next week. Malcolm Webb, Al Jazeera.
Regional leaders in Southern Africa are meeting to discuss an increase in rebel insurgency in Mozambique since 2017. An armed group believed to have links to the ISIS group has carried out more than 350 attacks, killing over 600 people in Mozambique, northern region of Cabo Delgado. Well, Al Jazeera's Haru Mutasa reports on how a regional front could finally provide security for civilians.
As fighting in the northern province of Cabo Delgado intensifies, Mozambique's president is asking other leaders in southern Africa for help.
The problem of Mozambique, the problem of Zimbabwe, problem of Zambia, of Namibia, of Botswana, everywhere. And this is why. But the target reachable. We believe that we together are going to work hard to make sure that our region is peaceful.
Militias have been raiding villages and government buildings for the past 3 years. Mozambique's government says fighters affiliated to ISIL are operating in parts of Cabo Delgado province. That's led to speculation that some southern African leaders could send in troops to help Mozambique's government to stop the fighters infiltrating neighboring countries.
And if indeed it is assumed the Islamic State, one of their models of operation is to enlarge their territory and then to take over much more space and much territory. It definitely would have an impact on firstly at the moment on populations in Tanzania and in Mozambique, but with a greater potential for spillover effect in the rest of the region. We have porous borders, as you know, between Zimbabwe and Mozambique, South Africa and Mozambique, Malawi and Mozambique, and there is really no such security guarantees that this will not overflow into the neighboring states.
Over the years, some southern African countries intervened militarily in the Democratic Republic of Congo, Lesotho and Mozambique. The reasons given were to bring peace and stability to the region. Regional leaders haven't confirmed or denied reports they're planning to send troops into Mozambique.
The long-term effects of any SADC intervention in Mozambique, especially if it's a military intervention, is that obviously people will start asking, is it really necessary to intervene in Mozambique? Why is Mozambique unable to do it by itself? But SADC has a history of assisting each other militarily or in terms of liberation struggle, solidarity.
Human rights workers say whatever leaders decide, that plan must include the protection of civilians. Thousands of them have been forced from their homes by the fighting. Haru Matasa, Al Jazeera.
Severe flooding in the U.S. state of Michigan breached 2 dams, forcing about 10,000 people to evacuate. The rising flow water swallowed entire towns and make bridges collapse, leading some officials to describe the situation as a 1-in-500 years event. Al Jazeera's John Hendren reports from Chicago, U.S.
Across the Midwest, days of pounding rainwater swelled to historic floods that swallowed entire towns.
The dam has failed. 100% failure. Evacuate the area.
The worst of the waterborne havoc swept over central Michigan, where surging waters overwhelmed 2 nearly century-old dams, submerging whole towns beneath the deluge, and driving those quarantining from the pandemic out of their homes and into the streets.
We quickly packed our 2 dogs, a couple changes of clothes, and ourselves. We had to do what we had to do as far as finding a place to stay, otherwise we would be sleeping in our vehicles.
In a prescient warning, one of the breached dams, the town of Midland's 96-year-old Edenville Dam, was rated unsatisfactory in 2018. It's now the latest failure in a nationwide infrastructure crisis. Floodwaters blew electrical boxes and collapsed bridges like dominoes. Bridge after bridge after bridge.
It's hard to believe that we're in the midst of a 100-year crisis, a global pandemic, and that we're also dealing with a flooding event that looks to be the worst in 500 years.
As Michigan struggled to cope, President Trump threatened to cut funding for the state over the way it is preparing for the November election. President Trump opposes an expansion of mail-in voting, saying fewer Republicans would be elected that way. And the state of Michigan has sent applications for all of its 7.7 million voters to vote by mail. But the threat to withhold funding at a time when Michigan is a hotspot both for coronavirus and flooding could hardly come at a worse time. Whitmer, a Democrat, urged the president not to inject politics into the crisis.
One another is not the enemy is a virus, and in this case the enemy is also a flood.
The waters surged across Michigan and the Midwest. In Illinois, a river swept over its banks and into the town of LaSalle. In Ohio, first responders rescued stranded residents in boats after streets turned to streams. Back in Michigan, local officials say they fear the worst is yet to come as floodwaters continue to swell. John Hendren, Al Jazeera, Chicago.
Well, before we end the news, a recap of our main headlines. General Sol Badjie swears to the Quran, denying selling out to the opposition to rid them 2016 elections against Jammeh, and apologizes to his victims, saying to them, "I am sorry if I wrong any Gambian." Gambian reacts as General Sol Badjie sought for forgiveness in a video posted on Facebook. Human Appeal International donates food provision to Tanka, Kovi and Gambia Prison Services. Burundi votes intense presidential election. Regional leaders discuss security after rebel attacks in Mozambique. In US, thousands evacuated in Michigan after 2 dams failed. Well, that's all for this edition of the news. Please do enjoy the rest of our programs and join us tomorrow for more news. Thanks for watching and do have a wonderful night. It's bye for now.